A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
We're going to move into the explanation of value, the explanation of service. And if you remember last week, we got into the primary activators of your prey drive. And I want to draw a correlation between prey drive and confidence. Because when you're low on prey drive, you don't have the confidence you need to take the actions you need to take to advance your vision and mission down the field. Okay, you're going to be hesitant to pick up the phone and call a strategic partner. You're going to be hesitant to sell your product or service. You're going to be hesitant to follow up like you need to. You're going to be hesitant to create enough friction to create movement in something. You're going to be hesitant to ask people to help you. And those are in direct correlation to low prey drive. Okay, high prey drive people wake up in the morning. You know, it's kind of like I said last week, they got the mindset of David in the Bible. It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. And they wake up with proper expectation, meaning it's not going to be easy. Doing anything big, folks, ain't going to be easy. Okay. If someone told you it's going to be easy, it's not going to be easy. Okay. And, you know, I was doing these podcasts today because that's kind of part of being a person of interest is you get asked to do a podcast every day. I could do podcasts 7 days a week. There's enough podcasts around to do podcasts every day, 7 days a week. And it's really exhausting, to be honest with you, answering the same questions over and over and over. But the reality is you got to do it because that's what helps you build your customer base. And he was asking me, you know, do you have to work as hard as you work, coach? Do you have to push as hard as you push? Do you have to exert the force and energy you do? And I made a simple statement. I have never met a lazy person of interest. I have never met a person that did something big in the world. And I go, hey, that dude was lazy. Most likely he or she did lots of things they didn't want to do. Okay. And so prey drive is associated with the instinct in you to get up every day and go pursue that vision you have in your mind. And there's typically a significant gap between what a person sees and what a person goes and gets. Okay. Almost every one of you on this call are in some type of transition. And transition is you're trying to go from A to B. You're at A, you have a vision of B, but you don't quite know how to get from A to B. Okay. And getting from A to B is going to require someone calling someone selling something, someone partnering with someone following up with someone. Like it's not magically going to happen, because if you travel with me every day, you would see how much time I spend marketing, promoting, selling, strategic partnerships, what I call nudging, bumping, inviting. I mean, today I was working on multi-million-dollar deals. Okay. And every day I'm trying to get big deals across the finish line. And that's just part of it, folks. I wish I could just snap my fingers and coach every day. And that's all I got to do was coach everybody. Okay. But that's not how it works. It's unrealistic. So nothing happens until something is sold. And nothing is sold until there's a product or service that we can present to another person that solves their problem. So what I'm trying to do with some of you is activate that prey drive in you to have that persistence and intensity to pursue what you see in your mind. Okay. What you see in your mind. And that is the prey drive. I see it. Okay. I see it. And now it's how do I pursue it, and pursue it with a pure intensity and a persistence about me that I don't waver from it. Like I'm going to pursue it until I get it, until the maturation of it, until I've seen it through to its logical conclusion. Okay. So how did last week's session help you with taking an action? Tony, how did last week's session on prey drive, what did it activate in you to go do?
You know what? It brought a couple things clearly into focus for me. And one I had to prioritize. Where before what I was doing, I was scattered. And after last week, I started thinking about it, and I woke up the next day and I came down and I took a piece of paper and a pencil and I said, okay, here's the plan for today. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about, I have the vision, and I'm not going to worry about what's going to happen next week. It made me focus. It made me realize that, you know what, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this right, rather than try to get from A to B, or I'm trying to get A to C, I'm trying to get to B first, and then before, let me just focus on where I am today. What I'm struggling with is something you just mentioned earlier, and I wanted to ask the question, is the balance. How do you develop the balance from the marketing to the promotion to the sales to everything else? That's where I'm at right now. I now have my things to do, if you would, every day. I've got my thoughts and ideas. This is the direction that I'm moving, and I'm focusing on that and not getting away from that. But now what I'm struggling with is the balance. How much time do I put in each area?
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer. I'm a big top line revenue person. So so what I do is I set a target, and then I push as hard as I can every day to drive that revenue target through sales. And so a good percentage of my day, probably 70 to 80%, is spent on selling our products and services. Okay. And I have dedicated periods of the day. So I meet with my team at 8:30 in the morning, and typically from 9 to 11:30, we do nothing but focus on new money generation. Now, for you, that could be reaching out to any person who could help you produce money, any person that could help you get new money. That is a pure selling period for me. Okay, now it doesn't always shake out that way because I may have appointments or coaching sessions, but I am a big believer, folks. We're running a business, and the business needs money. And so a high percentage of my day needs to be spent on money generating activities. And if you have a side hustle and a main hustle, okay, your main hustle is where you're driving your money from right now, but you want your side hustle to come. That needs attention.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is running our health division right now, but we have a 5-month-old son. So the health business gets a little piece of her attention. And it's never really going to grow with a little piece of her attention. She's going to have to devote X number of hours per day to prospecting, to new money generation, or the business is not going to grow. So if she comes to me and she says, look, she don't call me coach. She calls me Michael. If she comes to me and says, look, Michael, I want the health business to grow. I know she wants it to grow. That's her vision. She can see herself growing. I'm going to say to her, look, it's not going to grow until you have dedicated time every day focused on it. And that is on picking up the phone, calling people, initiating a sale, initiating a conversation, following up on somebody who indicated interest. Like that, to me, I am very sales oriented. And so the bulk of my day is how do we hit a number every single month? That's why you're hearing me talk about tomorrow night. I'm doing the webinar where we sold $1.3 million of coaching services in the month of October. Now, that came from a lot of products. It came from me signing a $500,000 contract with the company, to us selling new offices in my greatness factory, to us doing publishing deals, to us having funnel sales, to coaching contracts. Like, it came because I have a very wide range of products and services. It did not come from one line of business. It came from multiple lines of business. Everybody see that? But I was involved in all of that selling. I was involved in closing people on the offices, the major contract that we worked on for a year, by the way. So just remember, in my opinion, you're a sales organization. Everybody's got a sales organization. That's the number one thing most people don't do. And until you get the fact that you got to sell something every day, it don't matter. So if you're just getting started, Tony, back in the game, it's who can I get in front of? Who can I contact? Who can open a door? Who can I go back to that used to book me? What will produce new money? That is what we call high value activities.
Okay.
The percentage of the day has got to be spent on that. If not, we're gonna be here 6 months from today, and the business is not growing. because we have to get out of, I would rather have an idea that's 80% baked or 70% baked versus sit around and talk strategy for months and months and months and then release something. That's just me. Apple doesn't wait till a product is 100% right. That's why when they release a product, they have 10 versions of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why they update it? Because they make it and they sell it and it's got bugs in it. So they update it. So a lot of people sit around and wait, but it's not perfect. My one sheet's not perfect. My marketing collateral's not perfect. My funnel's not correct. My this is not right. I would just tell you folks, faster you can push ideas to the market, the faster you're going to make money with those ideas. Okay. And that's
Great point.
How fast can you take an idea to the market? That's really what I believe in, is I believe in speed to market. I do not believe everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be updates. Okay. So Prey Drive is a big part of the equation. And what I'm trying to get you guys to do is at the end of the day, no matter what you're selling, it really comes back to, do you have the Prey Drive to wake up every day and pursue it with a ridiculous intensity? I mean, a ridiculous intensity. And that is initiating, locating a problem, offering a solution to people, and then pushing people to something in the future. Okay. That is what we're trying to do every day. We wake up and we initiate conversation and we push people to something in the future. Okay. All right. Give me one more. Norbert, what about you from last week?
Yes, sir.
Activated your Prey Drive. Now tell me what you did as a result of last week's session.
Well, I liked your message about just creating momentum and that the boulder, the stone is just sitting there and you got to press hard against that to get it going. And so the one thing that I sent you an email about, just trying to figure out, are my goals intentionally congruent? You recall that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm still trying to figure that out, and you kind of just hit on it. I have a couple side hustles, and then I have my main business has basically been pandemic. The pandemic pretty much destroyed that business. So I'm trying to figure out another business to be my revenue generator while I build the other businesses. So it's a matter of trying to juggle all those, but the bottom line is hustle, activity.
Now, also, I want everybody on this call to understand something, is that one of my number one strategies to generate revenue is what we call the showcase. And the showcase is just where I get in front of people. And many times that is non-paid. That is where I can just show people my abilities. You got to get out of your brain that you got to get paid on everything up front. Okay, let me give you an example. I spoke at the same conference a few weeks ago that the Wolf of Wall Street spoke at, Jordan Belfort, where they made the movie of him. He wanted $50,000 up front to speak at that event. Okay, I said, you don't have to pay me up front. I just want to speak 3 times, and I want the back end sale. You get me in front of 300 people, and we'll see how much money I can make. He wanted a guarantee of $50,000. Now, he's supposed to be a world-class expert at selling. Okay. And most people would tell you that he's on paper supposed to be a better salesman than me. But I walked out of there with $100,000 speaking to the same people he spoke to. He walked out of there with $50,000. Now, why is that? Okay. Because I believe that you don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. So the number one strategy I use that some of you need to be using when you're trying to monetize something. Norbert, if you're trying to speak, or Tony's trying to speak, or Lori, you're trying to speak, what I'd be saying is just get me in front of people. I don't care if it's paid, non-paid, webinars, podcasts, anybody who will allow me to get in front of them. Now, if you don't have something to sell them after you get in front of them, then right, which is really what a lot of people's problem is. Like, man, you get in front of people, but you don't have anything to sell. Okay. When I do a webinar like I'm doing tomorrow night, our goal is simple: 200 people minimum on the webinar, and I will have something to offer those people. Okay. I'm going to give them 1 hour of free coaching from me. then there's going to be something for them to buy. I'm never going to do a webinar or an event or anything without something for people to take action. So just remember, you need to do the webinars as part of the showcase. And I do lots of revenue shares where I say, look, you put the people in the room, you let me sell what I want to sell, and then you get a percentage of it for putting them in the room, and I get a percentage of it. And I think that's where the world's going, is the revenue share model. Okay, in the old days, the speakers got paid a lot of money to come speak up front, and then they sold some books in the back of the room, but they were guaranteed money. And what's happening is it's harder and harder to put these events on. So event planners are losing money, and they don't want to do it that way. So when I spoke at 10X, they put me in front of 10,000 people. I made $1 million. Okay, so you know how hard it is to put 10,000 people in a room? So my point is, there's an exchange here. Your job is to put them in a room. The speaker's job is to be incredible and make money. Okay. So Lori, typically those splits they could be 50-50. A lot of mine include take out all my expenses to get me and my team there. And then after the expenses have been paid and the commissions have been paid to my salespeople, then it's 50-50. Some of those, I'm on certain splits that are 60-40. It's all negotiable. Okay. But what you want, just remember the concept is what you want is more people. The people have the money. Okay. That's the number one thing I want you guys to understand. So for Norbert, just getting started and intentionally congruent business is important, but don't miss this. The intentionally congruent business says first, Norbert, you have a core product that I can buy. Okay. Once somebody comes in and buys the core product, mine is Monster Producer, which is a $997 year-long coaching program. It is priced to move. It is priced to sell large numbers of people. We've priced that as high as $5,000 per year, $399 a month. I've gone up to as high as $499 per month. But I have found at $997, I meet very little resistance on pricing. Okay, so that's just a magic number, folks. I don't know why, but it's just a magic number. So Norbert, you need a core product that I can purchase. And the core product is the number one thing you push people to. Okay. And that is my default is I'm going to try to get you a Monster Producer first to get a year's worth of my coaching. Then I'm going to offer you boot camps, retreats, publishing, funnels, health. Those are called intentionally congruent products. They are all in alignment with my philosophy of growing the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. That is what intentional congruency is. So you would never see me. You say, well, why did I take 50% of a gym? Because guess what? Those gym members can become Monster Producers. And my Monster Producers can go to my gym. So they feed each other. Now, let me tell you another thing. Those 160 members can also get on my nutrition plan through OptaVia, through Monster Health. So now I've got 160 new prospects for my health business. My coaching business has 160 new prospects. And then my gym business has 300 or 400 new prospects from my coaching program. So that is called intentional congruence. And ultimately, I believe with that gym, I will end up owning 100% of that gym because when I got into that gym, it was distressed. They gave me a high percentage of it. I bought more of it and they need more capital from me. So what's going to continue happening is the more money I put into the gym, it's most likely going to be 100% Coach Burt's. Now, when I have 100% of the gym, then I'm going to market the way I want to. I'm going to push it the way I want to. I'm going to do deals the way I want to. I'm not going to be restrained with anything. Not that my partner restrains me, but you know, he's got a different view on marketing than I do. My philosophy is how do we get 400 people in there? And I don't care what we got to do. Kids, cousins, parents, grandparents. I mean, we'll have a grandparent special to get them in there if we have to. My point is whatever we got to do to get to 400 members is what we're going to do. There's no constraints in my mind. Okay. All right. Now let's get into tonight's subject because this is a very, very big subject we're going to be talking about tonight. And this was a game changer for me. There was a gentleman in my coaching program named Tom Love. Tom sold whole life insurance, which is typically expensive, high premium insurance that wealthy people stockpile cash into so they can keep that money off the radar screen legally of the IRS. And then they use those whole life policies to borrow against them, pay taxes on the front versus the back end, and it's considered tax-free retirement. So I have whole life policies myself. I put about $30,000 a year into a whole life policy, and that's kind of a hedge for me because I buy real estate and I have money in the market It's a safe investment for me. But, you know, some people like them and some people don't. Well, this guy came into my coaching program and he was very skilled. He was making about $450,000 a year selling whole life insurance. He goes through my coaching program and he basically said, oh man, what I really want to become is a person of interest. And to become a person of interest, I need to quit selling insurance and start selling a set of beliefs. I need to start selling a set of strategies. I need to use insurance as a strategy, not as an insurance policy. So he read my book, Person of Interest. Then he read the book, Start With Why, Simon Sinek. Then he read The Challenger Sale. And he went away during the coaching program and he came back and he said, man, I've got this new concept called the EOS, the explanation of service. And it is a new way to explain my value. And it doesn't even mention the word insurance. And I said, okay, let's go to a cabin. Let's lock ourselves up for a day and let's go through this concept. So we did. And the EOS basically is built on some core beliefs. Number one, people don't care what you do. I actually believe they don't care why you do it. Now, this is where Simon Sinek and I would disagree. I don't care why you do what you do, to be honest with you. If Megan says I pushed this hard because I got 4 kids and I want to move from here to here, or I've always wanted to do this, it doesn't really matter to me why she does what she does. What I do believe is that to get real alignment and real value from a relationship, 2 people need to believe the same things. I personally believe that people move toward and gravitate toward people who believe the same things they do. Okay, so I don't care why you do what you do, but I do care what you believe. If I believe everybody needs a coach in life and you believe you're too good for a coach, then I can't help you. If I believe in coming in early and staying late, you believe in showing up late and leaving early, we're going to have conflict. If I believe in speed and you believe in slow, then we're going to have problems. So we basically got at that cabin and said, man, look, the reason people do business with other people is because they actually believe the same things they do. So how do we craft a belief statement to share our value to other people and don't lead with what we do, we lead with what we believe. Then we will very quickly know if other people believe it too. Everybody see that? So this becomes this thing that we work on for years, and it has become so instrumental because I do believe when 2 people are in agreement, they move toward each other. I do believe it's much easier to sell to people that believe the same things you do. I believe all conflict happens when 2 people don't believe the same things. Okay, so what does this tell me? When I'm selling, how many of you have ever seen me do videos? And how many of you have ever seen me not say, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life? I believe a good coach can change your whole life. I believe those that have a coach earn 3 and 4 times the amount of money than those that don't. I mean, if you see me do one video that says that, you've seen me do 1,000, right? Because that is what I believe. Now, when I say that, the people who believe in coaching move toward me. The people who don't move away from me, which is exactly the way I want it to be, okay? Because if I have to convince, hard sell, manipulate, try to sell you on this, folks, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. So a good explanation of service is built first on very powerful beliefs. Okay, and you lead with what you believe, not what you do. I believe in attracting business versus chasing it. I believe in becoming a person of interest in the world. I believe people that get the most attention get the most opportunity, right? I believe in doing things right the first time. I believe when a man asks you to go 1 mile, you go 2. I believe in always over delivering in what you promise. Now, look at all these beliefs that I have. Now, so a good explanation of service has 6 parts to it. Okay. And I'm going to share with you those 6 parts. Okay. Number 1, always lead with what you believe, never what you do. Okay. Now let me just give you a good example. Catherine, you guys have a certain belief about gold. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now tell me what that belief is.
Well, actually, I believe that I guess our cash every day is losing value. So the only way to maintain our wealth or store value is in precious metals.
Okay, good. So you have a very strong belief, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me why you believe that.
Huh. This is where I struggle a little bit. I mean, why I believe it is through personal experiences. Before I knew the value of money, of struggles that I went through, thinking that, well, money always maintained its value until I was caught up in the, I guess, the housing crisis in 2008, 2009. And, that hit me pretty hard that, the banks are not as reliable as we all think. So it just kind of led us down that path of doing our research on the banking system, on money. And of course, that goes right along with taxes, how we're going to keep money for ourselves instead of paying it to the government. So.
All right. So when you see this, you have a belief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually have a belief that money is just energy. Money is just paper. It's just
Right.
energy that's circulating in the world. I believe it's, if not used, is of no value. I believe money sitting in a bank is losing its value each day that it sits in there. Now, here's the deal. If I say I believe these 3 things, I believe money is just energy circulating. I believe the people that have the most circulation make the most money. I believe money is of no value unless it's utilized, right?
Right.
You can come out and say, I believe money loses its value. And let me tell you why I believe this. And this is the why part is the second part of the EOS. Here's what I believe. Let me tell you why I believe it. And what you're doing when you share with me why you believe it is you're giving me a chance to believe it too. Everybody realize that, sorry, my nose is itchy. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm allergic to something here. There's no right or wrong here, folks. What you're actually trying to do is find out if another person believes what you do. Right? Somebody can totally philosophically disagree with you, and that's okay. Right? That somebody can say, no, I believe money is this, and this. I believe, and that's okay. The likelihood if somebody not doing business with you would be very minimal if they had exact opposite views of you, right? Which would mean if you shared your EOS, if you come out of the gates and say, guys, let me tell you what I believe. Let me tell you why I believe this. I went through the housing crisis of 08. It cost me this much money. Because of that belief, I started studying the banking system. And here's what I figured out. See, now you're kind of telling this story. This is what I believe. If you ever hear me tell my story, I say I believe everybody needs a coach in life. Because at 6 years old, my single mother, who had me when she was 16, used to drop me off at the local baseball field when she was working her second job. And one woman named Mickey Vincent cared about me and tended for me and fed me and said to me when I was 6 years old, son, one of these days, you're going to be a great coach. Said, I saw how great coaches took care of other people's kids, tended for other people, right? It's a very emotional story. And so when I'm telling that story, people can identify with that. So first step, tell me what you believe. Second step, tell me why you believe it, which gives me a chance to believe it too. Okay. So here's what I believe. Boom. And I typically have 3 beliefs. If you ever hear me talk, I have a rhythm and a cadence. And it's I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. Let me tell you why I believe this. Because of those beliefs, here's what I've chosen to do. Okay? I've chosen to devote my life to helping other people play at a higher frequency. Okay? I've chosen to build a multi-million-dollar coaching company that speaks, coaches, trains, and leads people from around the world. Okay? I've chosen to take complicated concepts and make them simple for people to understand and take action on. Okay, so because of my beliefs, I take an action. If I ask you right now, each one of you, what do you do? Most people are going to say, I help people do this and this, which is okay. But is it compelling enough? Okay, when I say I take large groups of people and move them towards some dominant focus, I typically help a person get a 43% increase in a 1-year cycle. I activate the prey drive in you and your people to get massive levels of new success, right? These are much bolder things that I do. Okay, this has got to be very concise. This is what I do. Okay, I do this right here. Okay. Now, when you're thinking about this concept, most people can't explain very well what they do. I speak and coach. I write books. I remember being on a plane once and a woman beside me asked me what I did. I thought it'd be cool to say I'm an author. And she looked at me and she said, oh, so basically you're broke, huh? And I said, okay, I won't use that one again. Now, here's my point. Right? You need to get out of the commodity trap. The commodity trap is I sell insurance, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm this. You need to get into, I do something very specific. I activate the prey drive in you and your team so you can get a 43% increase in a 1-year cycle. Now, what company in the world wouldn't want me to do that? Right? Now think about that. I can take that concept to any company on planet Earth. Okay? Because it's a universal concept. So this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. Step 3, this is what I do. Okay. Step 4, this is how I do it different than other people. And this is primarily for you. Okay. This is primarily for you because you need to know what makes you different from other people. Okay. Here's an example. People ask me all the time, what makes you different than Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone or whoever I compete against? And I say that I have structured our coaching programs where my coaching students get coached by me, not by somebody else. They get access to me. I am doing the coaching. I write the books. I do the coaching. And that is very different than a lot of other coaching programs where you sign up for them and get somebody else. Okay, that is a differential advantage for me. I say, look, if you're a monster producer, you get old Coach Burt every Monday. You don't get Coach Kurt, right? And I joke around with them and they laugh and they're like, oh, that's right. I say, because I bet you signed up to get somebody before and you didn't get them. You got somebody else. Okay, Tony's a big Zig Ziglar person. And, you know, if you sign up to get Zig Ziglar, that's who you want to get. You don't want to get another person. You want to get him because that's who you signed up for. Well, most coaching programs are not structured that way. You don't get him, you get somebody else. So you need to know what makes you different. Okay. And that's a lot for you versus for other people. Okay. So step 4, this is what makes me different. You need to find what makes you unique and different. I tell people I was a former championship women's basketball coach. Who would you rather have building your teams? Me or somebody who one day called themselves a coach? I've actually won a championship. I've actually built something from nothing. That makes sense? So that gives me a differential advantage. Okay. And by the way, John Maxwell has sold a lot more books than me, but he has not won a championship. I have. Okay. So who's more qualified to write about teams? Him or me? And I didn't think of that one day. I was at a coaching clinic with John Maxwell and I walked out and another coach elbowed me. And he said, you know, the one thing you've done that Maxwell's never done? And I said, no. What is that? He said, well, you've actually won a championship. And he said, that makes you different than him. And that stuck with me. It's not saying I'm better than him. It just means that is a differential advantage if I'm competing versus him. That's not a knock to him. It's just, hey, who's more qualified to coach your people, me or him? And are they going to get him, by the way? So let me take a few questions here. That's good. Kelly Perry. That's right. Very few people's got Cardone's personal cell number. That's right. This is my biggest challenge, coach. Do you know me well to give my insight on free prize? This is a great question. What Cynthia is asking is about a free prize. Free prize is from the book Person of Interest that I wrote, and it is something that separates you from other people. Okay, Cynthia, I think you have a contagious optimism about you that draws people in. Now, how you monetize that optimism is critical. How many of you struggle with monetization of a talent? Raise your hand. Yeah. So if you found your talent, if I tell Cynthia, you have a contagious optimism about you, right? You're approachable, you're smiling, you're friendly, you're laughing, people like you. Now it's a matter of how do I take that talent and monetize it? How do I monetize my confidence? Through coaching, speaking, training, creating products, getting people to buy in. We did a poll from the virtual boot camp that I just did, and they sent me the data today. And the number one thing people said they liked about me is they thought I was personable, approachable, authentic. Now, here's the deal. It's hard to fake being authentic, folks, because if you're not authentic, it's pretty, how many of you know people try to be authentic that struggle with being authentic, right? And they're fake. You know they're fake. It's like, man, that dude don't care. So, you know, when that feedback was interesting to me, because that's telling you where I win against some other people. Everybody see that? So if you got feedback about you and they told you what I really like about you, Cynthia, is this, the question is, how do you package and sell that? Authenticity, optimism. Okay, so that'll be in the monetization of talent. So that's the free prize. All right, now let's stick on EOS here. So we got, this is what I believe. This is why I believe it. This is what I do. This is how I do it different. Now, this is very important what I'm going to tell you. This is the fifth part of a good EOS. These are people I have done it for. Okay, and that is called social proof. I need to know, who have you worked with? What have you done? What type of success have you had? Right? You're trying to sell me on why I should use you. So you need to give me, whether it be quantifiable data, whether it be people you've worked with that have some star power. Let's take the big mortgage contract that I just signed. I had worked with at least 10 different mortgage companies with considerable success that I used in the negotiating for the mortgage company that I closed the big deal with. I used testimonials from their CEOs. I used hard data of the results that we got. I had a clear plan. If you saw the agreement that I sent to them, it showed a timeline of actions that I was going to do and deliverables that I would have. Like, it was impressive for them to see. And they're like, oh, this dude knows what he's doing. He's done it before. Everybody see that? He's done it before with other people. He can do it with us. And what we're selling, don't miss this, is the difference between what something costs and what it's worth. See, if I ask you, Zach, is $500,000 a lot of money? You may say, yes, it seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not in comparison to the amount of money a mortgage company can make in today's mortgage world. I mean, they could make $20 million more as a result of good coaching. So it's not, it seems like a lot of money, but it's actually not a lot of money in comparison to what it's worth if I get this team functioning at a very high level. Does that make sense? And by the way, my first coaching assignment was $350 for 3 hours. So we've come a long way from $350 for 3 hours to $500,000+ okay? Now, here's my point. Still coaching people. I'm just solving bigger problems. Okay, and that's what we call the blue marlin problem versus the bluegill problem. Now, you need to be able to say to me, I've worked with these people, they had this success. Okay, and I'm building up here my explanation. I'm building, right? I'm building my argument here. Okay, it's Catherine and Tony, right? Okay, Now, so I'm building my argument to Catherine and Tony, right? I'm strengthening my case. Like, right, if I was an attorney strengthening my case, I'm going through, look, this is what I believe, guys. Right? This is why I believe it. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it different. Okay, Tony and Catherine, these are people I've done it for, right? Here's proven success. That's leading me up to say, look, guys, if I could do this for you, like I have done it for them, what would stop us from moving forward with each other? Okay, this is how you lead up. This is the difference between an elevator pitch and an explanation of services. An elevator pitch is, hey, what do? We're on an elevator. We're going up to the 18th floor. Oh, I coach people for a living. Oh, great. Good luck. Okay. A good EOS is, man, I'm making my pitch. I got 15 minutes or 2 minutes or 4 minutes, and I'm going to come right out of the gates and I'm going to say, thank you for the meeting, Catherine and Tony. I always like to ask people, what would you like to do? You remember I asked you guys this, what are you trying to do? So I can understand, because I can't align my plan and give you the proper recommendation until I know what you want to do. What are you trying to do? Okay, well, I'm trying to do this. Okay, good. Well, I believe a couple things. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. Let me tell you why I believe that. Because of that belief, there's really 2 recommendations I'm going to make for you. Okay, now let me tell you, right? Now, I may not hit why it's different unless you ask me. I may just keep going and give you, here's some people we've done it for. Hey, if we could do this for you guys, does that sound good to you? Now, if they say, yes, I'm interested, but I'm not ready to take action, pop quiz, Lori, what am I going to do? Hold on, let me unmute yourself there.
Yes, you're going to follow up 7 to 15 touches.
Right. Here's what I'm going to do. You're exactly right. If they say, look, I'm interested, but I'm not ready to take action, I'm going to push them to something in the future.
Okay.
I may say, look, guys, if you haven't seen enough to take action, I'm doing a webinar tomorrow night on how I did $1.3 million in a month. I'd love for you guys to see it. I'm going to send you the link. Now, this has to do with brain science. Where they get to see it. I call it tasting the ice cream. They get to see it a few times before they take action. Okay, so let's go back to Norbert. If you're trying to get me in your coaching, and when you have a conversation with me and you do an incredible job of explaining your services, and I go, you know what, sounds good. Let me think about it. Let me sleep on it. Let me talk to my wife about it. Let me pray about it. Whatever. Then you may say, hey, in the interim, I'm going to send you this webinar I just did last week on me breaking this concept down. This is why I film everything, guys. You need intellectual property to push people to. Okay, you need something to show people, videos, webinars, social proof. So Norbert can say to me, hey, I just did a full day on this with this concept. We filmed it. I'm going to send it to you and let you watch it. Okay, that gives me a chance to see and taste the goods. Okay, then he needs a core product to push me to, right? Like, hey, I think you need this. Okay, good. Once he gets me in there and he's really good, he can say, hey, I also have this, these 3 things, right? I mean, we sell all kinds of things, folks. And I mean, in November the 30th, we're selling a trip to fly with me to Las Vegas to watch me build a course that could do $250,000. I mean, it's just edutainment. We're going to Vegas. We're flying private. You fly on the jet with me. And then we get there and spend 2 days. You watch me take 2 of my best courses and figure out the marketing on how we can monetize it at the highest level, right? I mean, there's all kinds of things we can sell. Okay, Kelly. There's actually spots available if you want to take that. Just tell Megan. But you better get it fast, right? There's urgency. There's only a few seats available. Right now, let's see here. Now, when you're thinking about this, let's go through the steps. Step 1 is what? Zach, what's step 1? Good EOS. Unmute yourself, big guy.
So that would be lead with what you believe.
Never, from this point forward, folks, lead with what you do. When someone asks you what you do, you never say, well, I do this. I own a company called Breakthrough Coaching. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with the word breakthrough coaching. But here's the deal. There's 700,000 people that call themselves a coach in the United States. You do not want to commoditize yourself. That's what I'm trying to teach the Optavia coaches. The Optavia coaches do not want to run around telling people they're health coaches, because there's too many coaches in the world, right? And so what you got to do is you got to say, look, before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe. Okay. And if I'm selling Optavia, by the way, I say, man, I believe at some point in life, we make a decision to leave our amateur desires behind and go pro. And that means the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Because of that belief, I've built out a division of my company that does nothing but teach you the habits of health. Okay. How to get in the best shape of your life. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Now, let me give you some examples. The guy in my office lost 60 pounds and I lost 30 pounds. That's why I'm in the best shape of my life. Now, if we could do this for you, like we've done it for these other people, what would stop us from having a discussion about it? Everybody see that? Now, what if I'd have started that conversation all by saying, you know what do you do? Well, I'm a health coach. Okay. Looks like we need to trim a little bit of weight off you. Okay. You think we could sell it that way, folks? No, of course we couldn't. I mean, maybe we could, but what I say is, let me tell you what I believe before I tell you what I do. And then if they believe it too, they're like, that's interesting. Their body language tells me. I'm like, great. We got a live one right here. Okay. Now, how fast do you think we'll know when we talk to somebody if they believe the same things we do? See, the goal of this is to know within 15 seconds. All right. Now, hear what I got to say. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. Okay. I'm actually trying to weed out the 86% of people who sit on the fence, right? I'm actually trying to weed out, okay, the people who don't believe the same things I do. And it's not that the 86% don't believe it, but they're skeptical, right? I'm trying to find the 16% of early adopters and innovators that go, I like that guy. I want to do something with him right now. Everybody see that? And if you don't have a belief that repels some people, you won't have a message that attracts the right people. Okay. When I come out of the gates and say, look, man, I'm tired of playing with my potential. I'm tired of being casual. I'm tired of playing small. Okay. I'm 44 years old, folks. I'm ready to get serious. If you're ready to get serious, come on, let's do this. If not, step over there out of the way. Okay. The older I get, the stronger I get in my beliefs. What I'm really trying to do is weed people out quickly. I only have so much time in a day. Okay. So it's like, boom, step over here if you don't believe the same things I do. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm looking for people that are looking for me. Okay. So I'm trying to get stronger in my beliefs. Okay. That's right. Okay. I say, man, I made a decision to go pro. Who wants to go pro with me? So let me stop right here and take some questions on this belief statement. Now, this is going to be your homework assignment to work through this framework and then present it back to me. And if you really want to get good at it, you do it in a video, right? You put your camera on and you share your beliefs. Okay. And here's the deal. You would never see me do a podcast, an interview. Anytime I'm on a stage, anytime I'm doing a video, anytime I'm on anything, you would never see me not go through this framework. Like I'm working through this framework. Okay. All right. Number 6, Norbert, is the ask. And the ask is, Megan, if I could do this for you, like I have done it for all these other people, what would stop you from moving forward with me right now? See, this is the pre-drive question. This is the closing question. Hey, if you're serious on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? What would stop you from moving forward with me right now at this very moment? Okay. And this is something a lot of people lack. I'm telling you, folks, the ability to ask that question. Okay. I'll go over to Eric White in my office, who come into me shy, introverted, and I'll say, Eric, ask me the question. And I've had to teach him this. Which credit card would you like to put this on? Because for the first almost year he worked with me, he was scared to death to ask that question. So he'd get to the very end, do a great job explaining our value, and then like just sit there. And I'm like, Eric, ask him for the sale. Would you like to get started right now? Which card would you like to put this on? I mean, it really was a mental block for him. And I'll go over to him and just test him. I'm like, ask me the question right now. Which credit card would you like to put it on? Okay, good. That's good. Now we're getting better. Because we can't help you until you commit. How many of y'all understand that? Okay. The monetization piece is, look, there's an exchange here, folks. I'm giving you 28 years of my experiences. I got a blueprint and a roadmap. I'm showing you how to speed this up. Okay. And in exchange, you're giving me money for that, right? It's no different than going to the grocery store and buying milk. You're exchanging. Okay. They're giving you something, and you're giving them something. So too many people are scared to death to ask. So the EOS is kind of building and building and building and building till it's like, Yolanda, if I could help you solve this problem, if I could help you monetize your talent, if I could show you how to explain your value, if I could do all those things for you, like I've done for thousands of other people, what would stop us from getting started tonight? Right? And she said, I'm in, coach. Just tell me what I got to do. Okay, good. Let's go. So this is a good EOS. So let me stop there and let me take a few questions, because your assignment from tonight is going to be to really work through this. And let me preface it. How many of you believe the top money earners know how to pitch their services at a world-class level? Raise your hand. Okay. They don't play around with this, folks. They do not play around with this concept. It ain't like they dabble with it. They got a halfway EOS. I see people kind of dabble with this for a year. And I'm like, I'm telling you, you got to become world-class at articulating your beliefs and your values and what you believe in and what you stand for and what you're asking another person for. You can't dabble with this. This is where the big money earners play. Okay. So you really got to get good. So what questions do you have?
I got a question.
Okay.
So the best way of practicing it is just literally writing it out and role play with your spouse. What's the best way of getting articulate with it?
Yeah, the best way is practice and repetition. Okay, that's why I like doing it on video. Okay, and then because it forces you to watch yourself, look at the cadence and rhythm, and it's really a framework for you and for other people. Like, you think it's for other people, but it is for you to get clear on what you believe. Like Megan is on my customer service team. Listen, I got a real simple belief. When it comes to customer service, speed is my number one belief. If somebody has a problem, speed. Somebody doesn't understand, speed. When we got information out, get it out quickly to people. Like, that is my belief about customer service. I don't believe in customer service. I believe in customer engagement. So when I have these core beliefs, then Megan knows, man, we got a problem. Coach Burt's belief is we need to deal with it right now. We don't need to wait. We don't need to be slow. I believe in looking at the calendar 3 months in advance, not 3 days in advance. Okay, so the more I can instill these beliefs in her, the more we're in alignment on what we believe in our company. Does that make sense? So she needs to know, what does Coach Burt believe about customer service? If I'm his customer service rep, well, he believes in speed. He believes in preparation. He believes in world-class experiences. Right? Like, he believes in removing friction. That's a huge one for me, folks. I hate friction. The fact that Zoom makes you put a passcode in drives me crazy. Okay, because that's friction on the customer, and I don't like friction on the customer. I want it to be easy. Okay, so to me, I'm constantly telling Megan it's too complicated. Find another way. Find a better way. Okay. All right. What's your other questions? Let's see here.
Is there a time frame that you would say this should fit under?
That's a really good question. I would tell you that there's a shortcut EOS. If I don't have time to unpack my explanation of service, I use a shortcut version. And the shortcut version is statement of belief, example of somebody I have done it for, or example of what I do, and then a call to action. Right? Hey, I'm Coach Michael Burt. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. I routinely get people a 43% increase in their business. If there's anybody in the room that's looking for that big of an increase in 1 year, then come over here and see me when we're finished. That's a quick one. Boom, boom, boom. Statement of belief, example, call to action. Okay. And sometimes hey, I don't have any time, man. I just need 2 minutes. Okay. I just need 2 minutes. I'm Coach Burt. I got a core belief, train people, outperform untrained people. I routinely have helped people in your industry get this kind of increase with this many people. If I could do it for you, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about it. I'm going to send you a webinar, let you watch that webinar. And after that, once we feel like we know each other better, we'll sit down, whatever, meet about it. Good question.
Gotcha.
I have a question.
Okay.
Mostly in the health coaching thing, I've done rather well, but I have a lot of teams and different things. And the greatest challenge that they face is getting the opportunity to share their EOS, because people want to pretend they're busy. They just want enough information so that they don't have to get to the phone. How do you handle that? I know we have some different methods that we train on, but I'm interested in hearing your take on those people who do not want to make the opportunity for you to present your EOS.
I'd say, look, it seems like you want to do this, but I need a few minutes to explain it appropriately to show you how I lost 30 pounds. And it won't work if I don't show it to you correctly. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about losing weight? Okay. I ask people very direct questions.
I like that.
Okay. Because here's the deal. If you come to me and tell me you're interested, I say, look, I can't help you until you commit to something. First commitment we got to make is I need 10 minutes of your time to explain how it works. Okay. I don't have 10 minutes. Okay, great. Let me send you a webinar I did where I explained it. You watch it on your way into work in the morning, or listen to it on the way into work. Then I'll call you later, right? I've got a buddy, Yolanda, that's wanted to lose weight for a long time. One of my best friends. I went down and worked out for a long time at his house. And I just said, man, you've been talking to me about losing weight for 4 years now. I just lost 30 pounds on this plan. It could do the same thing for you, but I can't help you till you let me explain it to you. Now, you want to take 2 minutes after we work out? Let me show it to you. And at first, like, no. I'm like, hey, when you going to get serious? When you going to go pro, man? Right? Okay. I had a trainer once that said, if you, let's see, what did he say? I want your body to match your charisma, coach. He said, when your body matches your charisma, you're going to make a bunch of money. And I always thought that was funny and interesting. But he was right. I needed to get in better shape. And so you got to be quick-witted and you got to be to the point. And when people indicate interest, Yolanda, I'm like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? Because if you're just at a 2, let me send you some things to look at, videos, these times, see if it fits for you, then we'll talk. Because I only work with serious people. Now, the people I do work with, Yolanda, let me tell you about the last 5 people I work with. And this one lost 30 pounds, and this one lost 20 pounds, and this one's in the best shape of his life, and this one did this. Now, I can't help you get those kind of results until you get serious about this. Okay, so I'm kind of direct, but I smile so people don't think it's aggressive. And but I'm convicted. I mean, help me to understand, Yolanda, how serious you are about this, because I thought you were serious, but don't seem like you're that serious, because I can't sit down and show it to you. Okay. Now I use a lot of attraction marketing, which means I put out a lot of content and actually try to pull people toward me. And then so it's a warm lead, if that makes sense. So on the health business, I may post a picture of me doing this, and this. Like I just posted I took a bigger stake in F45. There'll be people that comment, congratulations, this. I may go right back to them and say, hey, have you got a gym that you're working out with? Would you like to come in and try it out with me for a week? I actually can't.
Sorry about that. I have to tell you that I got to listen to Person of Interest and have been picking up the little nuggets here and there. And I have to say, I've been favored and my business has done really well. But there are those people who were not serious and, they just weren't doing anything. And, I'm here in Cabo with the group and I have, I think, 3 people at this point now are chasing me down. And, even to the point I say, I'll probably be available Wednesday when I get back. Well, do you have any time today? Well, no, I don't have any time today, but maybe Wednesday when I get back home. And so just some of the things that I've picked up this far, I have to tell you that it definitely works. And so I'm appreciative of that.
Good. Yeah. Hey, I'm in Cabo. I'm busy right now, right? I like that. And here's the deal. We'll cover person of interest in our 6th session with each other. So that'll be really good. All right. Any other questions before we let you go to, you got a homework assignment, which is to work through this explanation of service. I'm telling you, you will know immediately if you have legitimate people. Okay. You do not need to partner with people who do not believe the same things you do. You do not need to enter into partnerships with people. You don't need to sign up customers. You don't need to hire people because you are asking for problems, folks. Trust.
Coach Burt, do you ever trickle your EOS out? Or if you meet somebody in the elevator, are you pushing to get all the way through the EOS? Or is there ever an appropriate time when you're meeting someone and you just get to a certain point and you're not doing the ask? Or how important is it to time the EOS?
That's a great question. I mean, there are inappropriate times to ask a person for business. And what I do in those settings, for example, I've got this country music thing coming up at my lodge on the 12th. We're bringing in a major country music artist, 50 people, very intimate. You know, we're raising money for a charity. That's not a night that I'm going to ask people for business. It's a night that somebody may pull me over to the side and say, "No, tell me what it is you do." Like, I kind of understand, but I really don't. And I may say I have a simple belief. I think with a good coach, you're going to play at a much higher frequency. You know, I've spent 28 years of my life coaching people in how to really produce, inner engineering people. Now, and I can tell by their body language, Amy, and I may say, if you're interested, hey, we'll schedule time in the next week or so, and I'll break it down in what I do. That's what I do in a lot of settings. It's like, this is not the right time for me to unload all this, but let's schedule a strategy session, which is one of my favorite things to do. Let's schedule a 15 or 20-minute strategy session via Zoom next week, and I'll explain what we do and how we do it different than other people and some people we've done it for. Okay, if you're in a social setting where people are relaxed, you know, that is not always the appropriate time. So I think you just got to lead with what you believe, and the people who go, that's good, that's interesting, say, hey, let me get your number and I'll follow up with you. Listen, this is what's funny. When I go places, you know, it's kind of odd, but I'll just say, here's my phone, put your number in my phone and I'll call you. And I've never had a person tell me no, never. Okay. And it's like, okay, here's my cell number. Like, they just give it to me. So it's interesting in how you ask. I say, you know, you seem like an interesting person, you know, the kind of person I like working with. So if you just give me your number, I'll find a time for us to follow up, see what we can do. During that presentation is when I actually share my explanation of service. And I always, folks, push people to something in the future. Never not push people to something in the future. I don't care what it is, strategy session, meeting, webinar, something that you can keep the momentum moving in a forward posture. Okay. This is a huge thing that so many people do. Okay. All right.
Coach, I have a quick question. If you could just repeat, I was taking a lot of notes when you're talking about the health coaches, and there's thousands and thousands of people say I'm a health coach. And you said, get out of the commodity trap, create a greater concept and be more compelling. Can you give me another example of that, please? So I can, practice this.
Yeah. See, the health coach puts me into a trap because what if I don't think I need a health coach? What if I think, right? So I don't like that phraseology. I like leading with, you know, I believe at some point in everyone's life, you make a decision to go pro, and that's in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. Here's another one. I believe to do anything big in the world, you're going to need lots of energy, right? I believe confidence is tied to how you feel about your body. Okay. So what I do is I lead with things I believe. And then I say, let me tell you why I believe that. And when I talk about me losing 30 pounds, folks, I got a great story. I was in Mexico speaking at a real estate conference. I was the keynote speaker. They asked me to come out by the pool, and I just didn't feel good about my body. I weighed 191 pounds. I wasn't that big, but I was bigger, and I was a little puffy for me. And so I went in that day and called Doug Wood at Optavia, and I said, look, man, I'm ready. You tell me what I got to do to lose the weight. I want to get in better shape. And it was kind of that experience in Mexico. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but that day, man, it's just something hit me. And so I called Doug Wood, who's a good friend of mine, #1 guy in Optavia. And I said, man, tell me what I got to do. And he said, all right, let's get you set up. I ordered all my stuff that day and started the plan the next week, and then lost 30 pounds. Now, here's the deal. That taught me a lot about that, because I knew Doug Wood, I knew of Optavia, I knew of the health plan. I had seen other people lose weight, but until that day, I didn't make the decision. You know what I'm saying? So that taught me the value of presenting ideas to people over and over and over, and not hard selling people, but just showing people like, this is what we can do. This is how we can help you. So, you know, the word decide means to kill off. That day I decided, man, I'm killing this off. I'm going pro. That's it. It's a done deal. And so little did I know my wife would really want to be part of that business, and really love the health coaching. Like, I never in a million years thought she would love that, but she does. So now she's got something she can do every day, something she's passionate about, something that she's used. So I tell these stories, Kelly, and that's how that's how I explain to people the value. Here's what I believe. Let me tell you why I kind of believe that and went this route. So let me tell you what we're doing now to help people.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Hey, Coach, I know you mentioned like asking some questions before you jump into the EOS. When do you do that? And do you ever work those into the middle as well?
I have a formula when I talk to people that I use, and that is I initiate. So I say, Zach, hey, this is Coach Burt. And I typically say, where do you live in the world, or what's going on today? Are you making progress? Are you selling anything? And we just start some dialogue. Okay. And what I'm really doing there is I'm disarming you so that your croc brain is not alerted. Okay. You don't feel like you're being sold something. You don't move into a defensive posture. Okay. During that time, I'm also doing my discovery with you. You know, hey, if there's a couple things you're trying to do, tell me some of the big things you're trying to do. And I'm listening to you. Well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. And around that time, when I'm doing my discovery, or what I call locating a significant problem, I am easing into my explanation of service. Okay, Zach, let me tell you a few things I believe. Okay, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. Now, because of those beliefs, there's really 3 recommendations I want to make for you. You need to be in my legendary creature package. And let me tell you why I believe you need to be in there. Okay, let me give you some examples of other people I've worked with like you that we've had a lot of success with. Now, it seems like you're serious. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? See, I'm working you through a formula.
Right.
When I'm talking to you, I'm a coach. So everything to me is about frameworks and formulas and probability. So what I'm doing is, over the 18 years I've been coaching businesses, I've formulated all these formulas. So my formulas is initiate, disarm, locate a problem, offer a compelling solution. And that really, between step 3 and 4, is where I'm sharing my EOS. I don't call you out of the blue and go, hey, Zach, let me tell you what I believe, man. Let me see if you believe it too.
Right.
Okay. That'd be a little creepy. Okay. So I ease into it. And then when I hit it, I can tell, Zach, it seems like you're a man of action. Seems like you're interested in this. Now, sound like something you'd like to do? Because I start on Monday, Zach. Got to get you in there. This is why I like having something quick. Okay. Hey, man, this thing starts on Monday. What am I doing when I do it that quick? I'm separating out people who ain't serious. Okay. And I've had problems when I put things way in the future. Like, I'm talking to you in June, but it don't start till November. Okay. And you get excited, but then you lose that excitement. So I'm like, hey, this thing's starting next Monday night. You in or out? You need a time compression to help people make a decision.
Right.
Okay. And now, if you notice my coaching program, Monster Producer, every Monday I do a call. So if I'm talking to you on Wednesday, I'm like, look, you sign up today, you're going to be on my call next Monday. You're going to be in the program tomorrow. You're going to have access to me teaching it live this Wednesday. You see what I'm saying? There's a time compression there.
Right.
And that's important to helping a person make a decision. It's like, man, we can't mess around here. If you want to get better, this train's rolling. You don't have to wait till January. You can start right now. You can start today. You can decide right now. Okay. So that's an important piece of the equations too, is that there's scarcity and there's commitments, and I like compressing time. I like, man, why would we wait till next week? You know, you want to do it. You've been thinking about doing it for a long time. Let's do it right now. Okay. All
Thank
right. Megan, I thought tonight was a good session. So these folks are very coachable. What I love coaching in groups like this is, man, y'all come hungry, ready to get fed. Okay. And that's very different than some people I coach where I got to get them all jacked up and excited. We got to do jumping jacks. Then we got to wake them up, and then we got to keep them alive, and then we got to make them get going. And so I like these groups where people want to get better, and that's you guys. So thanks for taking it serious. And each one of you got Monster Producer as part of the package. So if you're confused about how that works, see Megan. I know it's a lot of coaching, and I create an enormous amount of content. So, but I'm very repetitious, meaning I'm teaching over and over and over the same concepts. That's what's helped me. I don't deviate away from my core philosophies. No different than Covey didn't teach anything other than 7 habits, right? So that's very important that you get, you follow along in the Monster Producer, you be in the courses, you take full advantage, you come to the boot camps when you can come, you really, really get very involved. And that's how we can take you to another level. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being coachable. God bless you. Megan,
Thanks,
we'll see
Coach.
you. Have a good night.
A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate